Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk, straight from their jocks about the jocks. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, alongside me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Odos? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the Know show. Locked and loaded, ready to go. Listen, we are getting closer and closer to that ever beginning of the season. Week 1 is right around the corner. We are psyched. Training camp has just started for all teams now. A lot of excitement going on. We wait and see. There's some big time news that just transpired as of today. And in practices, some guys are playing out of their minds. Some guys have shown up a little overweight. So some concerns there. But nonetheless, what do we got going on today? We got our first thing.
We just happened to not too long ago is the big extension with
DK.
DK Metcalf, Joe. DK Metcalf getting the extension. He was holding out a little bit here for the Seattle Seahawks, and now the deal has been done. There it is.
They lock him up.
He's agreed to terms on a 3-year deal, $72 million with $58.2 million in guarantees, and also a $30 million signing bonus, which is most among wide receivers now, Joe. So he is the highest in bonus money now among wide receivers. So you're starting to see some of these contracts as they go. Like I said, you move on. This guy's got to be next in line. Here it is. He was holding out, showing what he is for that team. He's got to be their number one receiver there, even though Tyler Lockett's very explosive receiver there in himself on his own there. But DK, wanting to get his money, especially if he feels like he wants to stick around in Seattle with the rebuild that they might be doing here. So
exactly. So here's my thing about this is, okay, DK, congratulations. You got your money. You got paid. You got your extension. However, why with Seattle? Like, if Russell Wilson isn't there, and now everyone knows it's not a secret anymore, the Seattle Seahawks are now in rebuild mode. They are reconstructing. They are tearing down the building, the foundation, everything. They're going to rebuild it from the ground up. That takes a lot of time to get back into like the Super Bowl hunt or even become a competitive enough team to get into the playoffs. So since they're starting from ground zero, I mean, for a player like DK, he would have no shortage of suitors lining up at his door if he was to become a free agent or even get traded. So to me, this doesn't make sense. If I'm DK, like, why would I want to be tied to an organization that now, in the prime of my career, is now hitting the reset button and starting all over again? They don't have no franchise quarterback yet. They don't, even though they have Drew Lock, but that's not enough. I mean, to be honest, does Seattle fans really think he's the answer for the future? I mean, it was nice to get something in return, like as a quarterback in the deal. But going forward, I question this decision by DK. And listen, I think he could have easily gotten this deal anywhere else. And maybe even with a more competitive team to actually have a chance to make the playoffs next year.
Right, and it's like maybe even the organization had a conversation with them about questions going forward. Maybe they really feel, because you've been hearing them linked to the Jimmy Garoppolo type of trade or something. Do you think that they think eventually they might be able to get Jimmy Garoppolo, and that maybe helped him say, hey, I want to sign this deal to be extended. If I'm going to get Jimmy G here, you think you guys are really close to getting this locked in here and getting Jimmy G, then I'll stick it out here. But that's a big if, because again, that's a rival giving up, a quarterback to the Seattle Seahawks, and that's what I mean. Those
don't happen.
That doesn't happen. So then you're looking on the Drew Lock situation or Geno Smith. He's openly said that he loves Geno Smith though too, Joe. He's been endorsing Geno Smith in the offseason, and now his training camp starting getting going. So maybe he really is that impressed with Geno Smith moving forward.
No, that's not what that is. What that is that Geno Smith is an adequate quarterback. I would honestly say he's a below average quarterback. Even though he's been there, done that, and has experience. And the bigger thing is that he's just ahead of the game. That's all. Like, he knows the playbook. He knows the players already. So for that familiarity already to have that course, Drew Lock is coming in. He needs to relearn everything offensively and develop chemistry with the players on that team. So, yeah, he's a little bit behind the 8 ball right now. But I think that after training camp is all said and done, that Drew Lock will be the starter and ready to kind of carry that torch for them for at least this season. But the other thing of it, too, is like if you're really pumping up, him as a quarterback, then I got big time questions for you, Pete. Like, what are you really thinking? You're thinking that he's even anywhere close to being Russell Wilson-esque? No. We all seen it, dude. Like, listen, he started before this past season when Russell missed some time. And through a lot of picks, like people keep overlooking, like, yeah, he could run the offense efficiently, but when it came to decision-making or poor throws, he did turn the ball over a lot of times. And quite honestly, especially when they were going to score. So, man, I mean, I really question this decision by DK. I don't know what he's thinking for the future. And even if, like you brought up Jimmy G, they're rivals. So the only way this would ever happen is if no team in the rest of the league wanted to even give up anything, had no interest at all, and Seattle was the only suitor. Maybe, and that's a long shot, maybe then they maybe make the trade.
Yeah, well, it would probably come down to that they would just say bite the bullet and cut him, because I don't think, again, the trade would be done unless they really do feel that they can, as rivals, even still be able to come up with a situation to where picks were exchanged or whatnot.
But there's a reason why they're not cutting him.
Because also now they've fully, throughout this whole thing, you know, they said that he could go seek a trade, but now they have fully said, we're buying all in on Trey Lance.
Yeah.
So basically now you said that your value with Jimmy G is absolutely nothing
but
now.
We already saw
nobody
this
can
coming.
give you that. Yeah, I know.
You know,
they flat out
flat out talked about this and said, listen, this is what's going to happen is you don't pick Trey Lance at quarterback 3rd overall for nothing. You have to play him now. It's been long enough. Now you have to.
Yeah, but here we go. There he is, DK, next in line to getting the deal done here, and he's getting paid. Now there's other, players out there this offseason that are still going to be holding out and not practicing and things and do it. Look at the Lamar Jackson thing going on, too. We're going to follow that throughout camp. And there's a lot of other guys that haven't even signed that franchise tag, too, as well, Joe. That franchise tag looming out there for a lot of these players. So some of these players aren't even signed.
Because they don't want to go to training camp. It's that simple. They listen, if they're veterans, they've been around. Like I understand they're still young, but listen, they've been there, they've done that, they know the team, they know the playbook, the schemes that they use. They're comfortable. So now, because they are starting to, they get up there a little bit in age or at the latter part of their prime, now they're like, you know what? Contract year, I want them to pay me. I'm not stepping foot on the practice field until you pay me, until you get a contract done. Now the tag, if you notice, this is kind of like a power struggle here with this franchise tag. We know a lot of players hate it, and rightfully so. If they do want to get out of Dodge and leave and go for a team now, you just can't a team will tag you just to hold on to you.
Right.
So now it's kind of like a power trip for players.
Right.
Now they're like, okay, you know what? I understand you put a deadline for me to sign this deal, but now I can still sign it or not, even though you still have the rights to me, but I'm just not going to practice regardless. Even for guys that have signed that deal and they're coming off an injury or they just don't want to go through training camp. They're like, nope, I'm going to sit out until you guys get me a new deal.
Right.
Even for either side. So now you're starting to see players stand up and say, listen, nope, just because I signed this tag, or I'm not going to sign it, and until you just give me a new deal anyway, these guys are refusing to practice. They're showing up.
Yeah.
So you can't find them.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing. You can't really find them. They are physically there. They're at practice, but they're just not willing to go on the football field.
And just one more thing on the DK Metcalf thing. I'm looking at this, too, in a different situation of the fact that he's 24 years old. So figure he serves out his extension at 27. And then by that time, again, if he's still playing at a high level, look at, we were talking about, the money, highest paid wide receiver, highest paid that. further on down the line now, he could get even a bigger payday with a different franchise at that point at 27 years old here. And that's maybe what he's looking in, trying to get guaranteed money as he is, getting that bonus money, and then in 3 years down the road, making that big bank deal there with a different team. And that could be big for him.
It definitely could be. I mean, but here's the thing is, I'm sorry. I no matter what ownership or coaching staff has told him, those are all words. That's not concrete. So I understand maybe they said, hey, listen, if you stay, listen, we got a nice beginner nucleus of players here. If you stay, we're going to build and to get you the football. You know what I mean? They did their spiel and whatnot, but I don't know. For him, I don't think it's a good place to be right now in his career.
Oh, yeah, I bet. All right, so let's tell you a good place to be, though, Joe. Let's tell everybody about SeatGeek and the promotion that we're doing this summer. While it's still here, I know summer's creeping away right now. We're riding into August, Joe. You know, the track's hot and heavy here, Saratoga. So that's the beginning of the end. You know, we see it coming. They already see the commercials for school supplies and everything. They want to get rid of it already. But, Joe, let's tell everybody what kind of sweet deal they can get right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Walmart already has their school supplies all over the place.
Everybody jumping over the top of it.
Come on.
It's going to be Christmas stuff soon.
Come on. Can we pump the brakes on summer a little bit up here?
Oh, boy.
But anyway, you know, our friends from SeatGeek.com, listen, they're the only source to buy your tickets for any kind of venue, your favorite band, your concert, your sports team, anything you want to go see that involves tickets. They're the place to go to. Right now you can get $20 off. That is not 20%. That's $20 off a $50 or more purchase. Huge deal that they're running right now. Just enter promo code GOZ, G-O-Z, and visit SeatGeek.com. Search for the event that you want. Buy your tickets. Use the promo code GOZ. That's G-O-Z. Remember that. Enter that promo code. $20 off any purchase of $50 or more. Save some money. Enjoy the summer while we still have it. And using SeatGeek.com. Entering the promo code as you see right there.
All right, there you go. That's right. SeatGeek.com. Got our tickets, too. We're going to be going to a concert next week. It's going to be super exciting. Yes, we can't wait. And the NFL season getting started, Joe. A lot of different headlines out there. Julio Jones found a place here. Now he's going to be going with Tampa Bay, and it's going to be playing with Tom Brady and stuff. Again, Tampa Bay trying to load up on another veteran again. Again, their average age for their roster has to be like 37, I would say, on average maybe,
But
despite some of the young guys that they do have.
But the thing is, though, is they're not just adding any veterans to play.
No,
Julio's a really good player, and even now at his age. Was he 35? I want to say
probably roughly, yeah.
But even at his age now, if he stays healthy, that's always the big question with him. Is if he stays healthy, he's definitely going to contribute to this team and make this receiving core ridiculous.
yeah, absolutely. And then again, we're hearing stuff slowly as camps develop too. So we'll get to more of that, in the following weeks. But some news came out about a day ago about now the Hall of Fame, and Joe and I, we always cover the Hall of Fame finalists when it comes out, when they put out these lists, because we think it's kind of fun to go over and look at, the finalists that are there and kind of try and guess who we would put in these in the Hall of Fame this upcoming year and stuff like that. But they didn't release all the players yet. I know that Sterling Sharp and Ken Anderson again are two of the 12, but they will release that list pretty soon. But we heard about now the Hall of Fame coaches and seniors, and also the contributors that are out there as well. Shout out to Zach Dooley in the house with us tonight, by the way.
No, I don't have it. I appreciate it.
Wearing that
Joey
ring.
wearing that ring. We got our championship ring over the weekend, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, you know what? I should have brought the trophy and put it right here.
You should have put the trophy here, Joe.
I'll bring it next time. I'll bring it next time.
Nice. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, we got rings. We got championship rings and everything. We did our thing this weekend. If you're new
you got it done finally.
Listen, finally. Dude, we're on record pace, baby. That's 3 chips now.
Yeah, nice.
Every year it's a chip somewhere. One of my teams is getting a chip. We did our thing. Now we're moving up to the higher division, and we're going to try to win it again.
All right, there you go. Congratulations. He says go Pats, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens with those guys. I mean, that's going to be a tougher division now. Yeah, I'm glad that he's
definitely
really
be tougher.
confident in his Patriots there. We'll see. Not a lot of people are.
He's a true Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dooley.
Yeah,
I know him.
That's awesome. That's good that there's still Patriots fans out there since Tom Brady left, right?
Like, no joke, though. Like, he's not one of these bandwagon Patriot fans that kind of hopped on, they're starting. Dynasty's happening. I'm going to jump on. No, he's been there from ground one.
Can't name some of the players, right? All right, so, and talk about, Patriots. I'm sure there's a bunch of future Hall of Famers that were on those former teams there, like Tom Brady and stuff. But, they revealed the coaches, seniors out there. Mike Shanahan. Who else was it? What was his name again? Oh man, I can't remember. But they had a bunch. Dan Reeves too was out there.
Oh yeah.
Art Rooney was out there as an owner. Many big names here, Joe, and that was oh, here we go. So Dooley's a bum. Raptors, nice. Jeff in the house with us.
Oh, there he is.
Nice.
That's look at my guys right there.
Nice. Seeing 6 chips in my life. Not many people can say that. I'm okay if I never see one again. I mean, I would love to, but if not, I'm okay with that.
I got you.
There you go. He sees you. There you go. Nice. That's awesome.
See?
Little love, little chatter in the box. We like it there.
A little flag football going on chatter here right now.
Absolutely. So Mike Holmgren. Mike Holmgren's one of them as well for the coaches, which I think that's why they say those two names right there. They are one of those bigger names. Mike Holmgren, mainly with the Green Bay Packers, but has been an upper office type of guy too as well for the Seahawks and things and other teams. He
gets my vote.
And then even Mike Shanahan, what he was able to do with the Denver Broncos, keeping them relevant so long and finally getting the Super Bowl a couple years with John Elway. That was big for Elway's legacy. And I think Shanahan's on top of it because even after that, he tried to go to Washington
100%.
and help his legacy a little more there. And that's when things got troubled there and had a lot of issues,
You didn't have Elway to help you out.
No, absolutely. You had Donovan McNabb, but they didn't get along and stuff. And so they had a lot of different issues there. But 2 of those names are really big for them. I think on the ownership / contributors too as well, Robert Kraft's out there for the New England Patriots. So we want to talk about Dooley and the Patriots. Robert Kraft, he's got to be a Hall of Famer too as well for what this team, this franchise has been through and what they've done. Yeah, I know, I hear you. But no, when he bought the team, that's when it kind of started, and he was able to make some of these moves that they did. Before that, the team was terrible. A lot of people don't even remember them even in the 80s, back in the whole red pants, white shirts, the white helmets with the dude leaning over to snap.
To be honest, those are pretty dope uniforms.
I guess so. They were kind of cool. They're different.
I like them.
Some of the things that you miss about the NFL, I think, is the intricate looking logos that were on the helmets. It seems like after a certain time, maybe even we'll just say whatever, turn of the millennium, the year 2000, right? Didn't they get sleeker? Like that's when even we saw the Denver Broncos go from the thing that looked like a real horse to that sleek looking pulled back horse, like a horse got Botox and got stretched all the way back. And that's what it was like.
Is that why the hair's pulled in the back?
I think so. Maybe that's what it's like. Like you're doing that, and they kind of did that with the Patriots thing. They made him like a robot Patriot. Did you see? The logo that it is now. He looks like a robot face with a weird,
very
flag,
long
pointy, like bicyclist helmet. You know what I mean? The racing bicyclist. That's what that kind of looks like.
Yeah, true.
But I'm going off on a tangent on helmets and logos, man. But I can do that forever. But yeah, a lot of big names. Art Modell too as well. If you think of him, you think about the Baltimore Ravens,
dude,
and what they were able to do. Oh man, but and then
he moved the team overnight, bro.
Isn't that's
come on,
dude? I would be, if I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, then I'm really hating because Cleveland Browns have been waiting for championships since their old days.
No kidding.
And he had the franchise. He leaves, and relatively quickly they win a championship, and then not too long ago, again, they won another one, and now they're getting close. Well, looks really good with Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
And people have got to be like, why did you even leave Cleveland? We're still here. We're still here. And why did you even leave? Look at what you've done, man.
Dude,
what a
it's
kick.
So crazy.
What a kick in the pants, Joe. But what do you think about some of these guys that are out there for the that are up for this?
I mean, to be honest,
seniors
to be honest, Mike Holmgren, hands down, he is a legend in the coaching realm. So, to me, that's no question. He has to get in. If you're gonna go owners like Robert Kraft,
Here's the list of
Robert
them
Kraft has to go in as well because look at how successful that franchise for such a long duration. That's what's crazy about it. So yeah, that's a must. Even though as much as I don't like that fucking guy, but yeah, it's a must. He has to get in. And then after that point, then it's like toss up. You know what I mean? You can have a big time debate for like that third spot,
some guys.
Because.
Well, that's what I mean when you look at it. Well, I
Dan
think
Reeves
they
is
can
a
only
really good one.
three, and that's the big thing with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you put the former coaches and then contributors all together and trying to pick three, that's when you've got an issue with trying to narrow them down. So it has to be one of those guys, Shanahan, Holmgren, or definitely Robert Kraft. But again, Dan Reeves, guys like that, they're going to be along the wayside. But I think Art Rooney has got to be one of them too. Because
no, he's a scumbag.
But dude, he is a pinnacle part of what's going on even in the NFL right now. But major like his organization that he's run as a vice president for the Steelers. Like I said it back to you, they have not been a losing team in that division since 1988. So they've been able to stay relevant. They've been able to be winning, you know, and that is a big part of it as being the team president. I mean, look at the Broncos once John Elway became the team president for them. I mean, they've been searching for a quarterback, having issues.
They've been losing.
They had to basically go out and beg Peyton Manning to come there to get one, you know.
Then they switched his job position and say, okay, well, that's not working.
And some of that front office type of stuff is a big deal, you know, and then everybody knows the Rooney Rule. So things like that to where it's changed the face of the NFL and major decisions that have gone across that affect everybody in the NFL. I think that's a major name for people.
I mean, it's a major name, yeah. And then he's part of the history of the NFL. But that's the thing is like you could debate a lot of different ways for all these guys to get in because you mentioned Dan Reeves. Like Dan Reeves is going to get thrown by the wayside for maybe now. But like I hope he gets in because I feel like a guy like Reeves deserves to be in there. We got a question there.
Godzilla is in the house with us tonight.
Godzilla Media.
He says, I consider Jim the DK Metcalf of Godzilla Media jacked with his shirt off. Man, that's pretty impressive. When did you see me with my shirt off, man? That's what I'm wondering, man. He's got paparazzi around outside my house. You know, Joe is Von Miller, a great style. Obviously, Gaz is Jimmy G. There you go. What, the handsome guy who dates adult film stars?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, all right. Way to go, Gaz. Nice. Getting it done. All right. So, the guys in the house with us tonight. We got you want to talk about Godzilla Media? We've got a lot of epic stuff to announce this next coming month and just shortly with everybody over our social media platforms. But we've got a couple new shows on the burner for you guys and a lot of different things. We have some new sponsors coming up this month too as well. So we'll let you guys in on some of that. Just to tease a little bit, there is a sponsor that's coming to our show that is involved with sports betting. So if you guys are into sports betting, make sure you guys pay attention to our show for the special promo code and any kind of things we can give to you guys and show the love to you know-it-alls out there. But right now, I'm going to show some love to my guys here at Mohawk Honda. Joe, the supply chain still facing challenges out there. It creates a selling opportunity for you, though, Joe. It creates a selling opportunity for you right now. Go to Mohawk Honda. They will buy your vehicle at top dollar right now, market value. If you're looking for a new ride, you can also trade in your vehicle for a new or pre-owned vehicle. At Mohawk Honda, the team will do whatever it takes to find you the car that you're looking for, even searching the eastern seaboard. Just for you. Just for you. And as always, the team at Mohawk Honda will make the buying and selling experience very easy. They're like a family there. Their motto is they go out of their way to please you, and that's what they do. You know them as Carms with Kern, Trust Trav Landry, Lewis the VIP Man Morales. I just love saying that name. C. Mac, let's do a deal. McKenna, driver Deanna Cowles, and also General Manager Greg Johnson right there. Go to see the man in charge there at Freeman's Bridge Road in Scotia, New York. I'm right down by the road. I see the cars out there on the lot. Go talk to them today or go to MohawkHonda.com. They want to buy your car. They always go out of their way to please you. Ooh. That's right, Joe. And we also try to go out of our way to please you guys as well by coming up with super interesting or different content than anybody else does now. We don't want to tell you guys how Kyler Murray out there maybe plays too many video games and doesn't do enough studying and stuff. Like everybody's beating that to death so much to where he had to come out and explain himself.
Or who's the most handsome quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, it's Gaz is the most handsome quarterback, or the equal of him, I guess. Jimmy G. But we've got a great topic for you again. Every year, Joe, Madden comes out with a new game. They release all their ratings.
They do.
They're always screwed up.
Fucked.
They overrate people. They underrate people and stuff. Last week, we did the wide receivers, and pretty much they were the same type of list, but just shuffled a little bit.
Couple of different changes.
Again, Michael Thomas jumped into the top 10, which was pretty interesting,
and
Joe.
Debo did, too.
And Debo, yep.
Because Debo was complaining. He's like, how am I not in the top 10?
Yeah, and he even stayed with the rating that he had that Madden had given him.
Right.
So this week we are going to do the Madden 23
wide receivers.
Wide receiver? No, we're going to do the.
No, we're not doing wide receivers.
We're not doing wide receiver. We're going to do.
Minds.
Yes. Well, we're going to do the quarterbacks. That's
we're
right.
Do quarterbacks.
The Madden quarterbacks, because last week we did the wide receivers, Joe.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
So we're gonna do the quarterbacks. Sorry, everybody. You got your hopes up. I know everybody's.
Well, we did quarterback, or we did.
Everybody's excited. They love the skilled positions.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going here we go. So this is what Madden rates them now. Here's your top 10. All right, there we go. Madden 23 quarterback rating. There's your top 10.
This is the ratings that they gave us on day one when they officially announced it coming out. So you got Tom Brady 97. All right, I don't know about 97 though. Like, think about it. Tom Brady is getting up there in age. He's still a really good quarterback. No issues with that. But do you really think he deserves a 97 rating? Like, I think he's, not as in top performance level like he used to be in his prime. So still a good quarterback, but he's getting a little older. Usually what that means is that your rating comes down a little bit. But and he's the number one rated quarterback, which is kind of baffling to me now.
Well, that's the thing. If you look at him in his career, he was retired at the beginning of this offseason.
Right. So,
all right. So when you look at that and he is retired and he comes back and into your video game and he's instantly the best quarterback in your game, how does that even happen? That doesn't make sense to me. Yes, he still performs at a decently high level.
Yeah.
But he, I think, is more important to the Buccaneers team with knowledge of the game and just experience more than his really physical attributes that he has right now. And I think that's what with Madden, that's what that game really has to be about, because it's how the game is played. When you grab that person, it's not like his experience is going to do great for you onto the game into the football field.
Matter, yeah.
It's whatever you do to it.
Right.
So it needs to be his physical attributes and what he has. That's why I think the list is absolutely hilarious when it starts off with Tom Brady.
It should definitely be a little bit lower, but nonetheless, to have him as your number one right now, that's your number one. I disagree.
Absolutely, and then bunch everybody would debate as they go here and what some are. Some people think Justin Herbert was a bit low. Matthew Stafford here in the top 10. Russell Wilson in the 87 here. So Josh Allen, a lot of people hated.
How was Lamar in top 10?
Yeah, I don't.
How was Lamarr Jackson in the top 10? Because honestly, guys, if you go by what he did last year, threw a lot of picks in the latter part of the season, really killed his QBR rating, killed everything, and he had a terrible year, since he's been in the league. So I don't know, man. Have him in the top 10 right now. Usually it's based on the last season's stats and what they were able to accomplish.
Right.
And if you're looking at that, then how did Madden even get him into the top 10? Why is he there at, with an 89?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, too, is they really love to dog your guy, Derek Carr, too. And I think a lot of people just do in general.
It's just a thing now.
He was rated below Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was rated above
and Watson
Derek
didn't
Carr,
play.
and he didn't play last year. So that's the funny thing too as well. But anyways, we'll stop rambling here. We'll get right to the list here, Joe. Here is the list. Let's go after we re-rated them. Now this is based on the statistics that they gave us. All right, and we did the calculations on only thing that mattered was quarterback play, okay? Passing, throwing power, deep, whatever, all that.
Only
and we
the
re-rated
attributes
them.
used
All right,
for that
so
position.
Tom Brady, I went through it all, and here we go, and this is what we got. He's got a 90 now.
He's
so
still
he goes
number
from
one?
a 97. No, I'm listing him as
All
they're
right.
already
Okay,
labeled
okay.
as one.
All right, I'm about
so
to
we're
lose my
going
shit.
1 through 10 right here. All right, Tom Brady, he went to a 97 to a 90. Now
All
that
right.
seems actually understandable
Yeah,
to me.
that makes
That
sense.
sounds pretty good. All right, going into number 2, Aaron Rodgers now goes to a 94. Now, he
There
was
you
a
go.
96, 94. Still
Yep.
sounds pretty good.
Yep.
Still being productive.
Yep.
And still leading in the NFL. Remind you again, last year's MVP of the league
True.
gets disrespected by the
Right.
guy who
I know.
retired from the league. And this is the funny thing about that.
I mean, he never really fully retired. He didn't miss.
He did for a few weeks.
Yeah, but he didn't
not-
miss
it's
the season.
Yeah, right.
So it's like,
right.
yeah.
All right, here at number 3 that we had Patrick Mahomes. He goes down to he stays the same as a 93,
Stays the same?
right?
Okay.
Is that what he was? Let's look at it. He was a 95. Okay.
So it goes down
So he
2
goes
points
to a 93
overall.
All right, here we go. Now taking a look next at number 4. Josh Allen goes from a
Allen.
92 to a 91.
Okay.
There you go. Off a tick.
Not
Still
bad.
lower. But again, if you're looking at these numbers,
Yep.
they're close again. And
Yes.
this is what we talk about when we talk about this game. They don't need to be astronomical. This guy's a 99 because he's the best, and this guy's
It's
a
a
90.
it's a
If
gaming
there's
thing.
give or take who you like, again, because one's a little more of a running quarterback, one's more of a pocket guy, they've got to be probably close in the mix of all these stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, here we go. Looking at number 5 here. Joe Burrow stays at a 90. So
Okay.
there you go again.
I
If you
still-
look at to relatively numbers, though.
I think you should be up a little bit more.
All right, here now back to the list here. Number 6, Dak Prescott, a 91 now. Now this
Wow.
is where it gets spicy again, Joe.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
what do you
Here we
think
go.
about that? What do you think about Dak Prescott becoming a 91 now? And now if you look at Joe Burrow, then not still sitting there at 90, and you look at
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, bumps him now with a 91.
I honestly think Burrow should be like a 92. And I think Dak should be either a 90 or 91. That's
Yeah.
what I think Dak should be. But I will say this as a disclaimer, Dak Prescott has proven to be a really good quarterback in this league. So he's deserving of a 90 plus rating.
Right.
But I don't think he should be ranked over a guy like Burrow or you know what I mean? Or if it happened like Josh Allen, I still think Josh Allen is a little bit better than Dak. Not by much, but I'm just saying, like, if you're comparing the how successful their seasons were, you know, you gotta kind of play with that number. Like, this is where when we redo these, it's with the intent to kind of get the most accurate rating possible, still using Madden's ratings with the individual attributes, but we take out all that bullcrap attributes like kick power for a quarterback
and all that stuff.
or tackling or anything like that. Just get rid of all those ratings. Why are they even in there? They don't do that. So that's why we come up with these re-ratings for you to give you a more accurate sense of what they should be.
Right,
But-
and to see if the average
And
out,
they're
if
still-
they really do come out to a 99 or
Yeah.
whatever, like they're giving these guys.
and there's still
they don't.
debates no matter how you look at it. Like we're just talking right now. Like, I think Dak should be, should be in the 90s, but at the same time, I still think some of these other guys need to be ahead of him.
All right, let's go back to the list here now. He went from an 89 to a 91, by the way.
Yep.
So there he is there.
So they went up 2 ticks. Okay.
Yep. All right, and now our 7th guy here, it's Justin Herbert stays in an 88.
Wow, really? Come on.
Still dogging Justin Herbert.
Come on.
Now, what's the deal with that? You think Madden just doesn't like the
Dude.
Chargers again?
I think,
Because
honestly,
that's the thing, I think, sometimes with some of these teams and some of these guys, when they rate these guys, I think it's overall thinking about the franchise, and people look at the Chargers still, and you know it. There's not a whole lot of even Chargers fans that go to Chargers games and stuff.
They might
just
now.
kind of look at them as an afterthought, even
Right.
though analysts really like Justin Herbert, what he's been doing. We've looked at the
awesome.
team, and it looks like a really complete team. And they still seem like they're on the up and coming and moving forward, but still getting dogged. You know what I mean? And what is it that has it been for Justin Herbert? Because for me, it's shown that he shows up in big games, doesn't really make up a lot of mistakes like that. He's still not trying to figure out presence in the pocket or missing reads. So what is it? that they really are not liking about this guy.
It really doesn't make any sense. Herbert has proven big time, even as a rookie, on how good he really is, and he's NFL ready, and he's been successful for a couple seasons now. So he's proven to be one of those 90-plus quarterbacks, and you don't even give the man a 90? Like, are you kidding me? This guy has been, from day one, been super impressive. And everybody's taken notice, but it seems like Madden forgot all about him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. Back to the list here. We got two more guys that were, or three more that were in the top 10 here. And Lamar Jackson, now he actually goes up. He was an 87. Now he's an 89.
Okay.
And now, again, you're looking at him, Justin Herbert, just a tick down from Lamar Jackson.
Crazy.
And this questions the whole fact in this.
Garbage.
Because we look at this as a quarterback situation. Again, this is the game. They're quarterbacks. I think Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has a lot of different attributes about him. Again, the ability to run, his ball vision, things like that are great, but has nothing to really do with the position. If you look at him and put him side by side with Justin Herbert, I just think Justin Herbert's a better quarterback. And that's where it's kind of funny. And now he's an 89 and Justin Herbert
I don't know how that happens.
At an 88. So
just to be fair,
right,
that list that's above him, everybody above him should be above him.
Right.
Let's see what happens with the last two spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. And then we've got Russell Wilson. He actually goes up.
Oh, my God. Really?
He goes up from an 87 to a 90. So,
all right.
Relatively, this is close to where it was, I think, on last year's.
The rating's okay. I'm okay with the rating. I
the thing is now, too, is a lot of people, even though there's a lot of people out there that are super psyched about what's going on with Russell Wilson being a Bronco and how it makes them a contender instantly and stuff like that, there's also the other spectrum, which is an honest opinion. You saw, even though what Russell Wilson has the ability to do, escapability, still be able to pull out some wins on his own without having that offensive line with the Seattle Seahawks last year, that it seemed towards the end of the season like he was getting worse, like he's on his downward spiral, like he's actually had his best years, and now they're behind him. So it's not like he's going to the Broncos and going to lift them up. It's kind of like he's going there, he's downward trending, and they don't see a whole lot out of this Bronco team. They could be doing something, but they think Russell Wilson's on a downward spiral.
Yeah, the tough thing to do is to evaluate Russell Wilson's last season as a Seattle Seahawk, because here's the thing. A lot of things could have been going on that we don't know about and probably never will, because we already knew there was a little bit of actually a little bit. How about there just was a big rift between him and Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll putting the blame on him for all the losses and all the close games that they missed out on, and, which is very unprofessional, like on Pete Carroll's part, and that definitely ruffled some feathers with Russell Wilson. He started to get really pissed off. You could see it in the media interviews and how he was like, well, I take the blame for a lot of the things, but, it's not just me. We're a team, you know what I mean? So he was getting a little frustrated with Pete Carroll and what I don't know what he was trying to do. But overall, like, after that has happened, and then he had that little kind of, like you said, downward spiral towards the end of the season, it might not be just because of his play. It could have been because of the turmoil between him and Pete Carroll, and he was just like, maybe he checked out already.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, was like, well, we're not going anywhere. We're not making the playoffs. So and because contract
200
negotiations
times in 4 seasons.
Contract negotiations are not going well, and I just want to get out of here. I'm done. I want to move on. Listen. It's either him or me, and if it's not going to be him, I want to be traded. I want to be gone. I just want out.
Absolutely. So here we go. Let's go to finally now the last guy here in the top 10.
Last one.
What
we got?
And it's Matthew Stafford.
Hey,
he goes makes up from an 85 to an 86.
Ain't that crazy? You win the Super Bowl and
it's not even that crazy. You would think it sometimes.
I mean,
because again, you figure, who has won the Super Bowl the last couple times? It's been Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. It's guys that they already see as some of the better quarterbacks in the league. Matthew Stafford, another guy who's gotten dogged his whole career. But
just like he did in Madden.
Again, I don't think, though, with Matthew Stafford, they're going to put him in the conversation of, well, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. And then Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl.
Stafford
he's a really good quarterback. He's that bad where he's going to be like, well, Matthew Stafford was able to do it. No. But, again, he's had this thing looming over him, and I don't know if it was just because that he was drafted by the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
But he has made some things happen despite the indiscrepancies here for the Lions. So now comes to a good team, good personnel around them, a little more well-run, an owner that's willing to do what it takes to win. You know what I mean? Put their money out there, trades to load up and get what they had to do, go out and get a Matthew Stafford to put on display everything that he has to offer, and there you go.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is Stafford finally got a team that was complete. I mean, you look at what his time in Detroit. Yeah, everybody points to the whole thing. Oh, but he had Calvin Johnson. Yeah, he had Calvin Johnson and nobody else.
Right.
So who else is he going to throw to? Like, Calvin Johnson is a Hall of Famer. And, you're going to throw it to your best weapon until someone stops him.
All right, so here we go. Let's look at the list first. Here was the top 10 list that Madden gave us. Here is those same players now with their new ratings. All right, Joe, you ready for the new list now?
I'm
the
ready.
The new top 10. Some have dropped out.
Yeah.
Some are in.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, here we go. Ready? There it is. New top 10 quarterbacks in Madden. Aaron Rodgers takes the top. Then it's Patrick Mahomes at 93. Josh Allen, the third best at 91. Dak Prescott at 91. And that was only decided because of decimal points. When I did the average, stuff like that, I did decimal points and everything. So Josh Allen leapfrogged over Dak Prescott. Joe Burrow, because of decimals, leapfrogged over Tom Brady, who's sitting there at a 90, and Russell Wilson. So Joe Burrow cracks the top 5 for quarterbacks with a 90. Tom Brady slides from number 1 with a 97 to a 90. So now he is actually 6th on the list. Now, the thing about this list, now I think this makes more sense.
Doesn't make way more sense.
Still a veteran, still can play well at a high level. A 90, I think, is great.
However, I am a little disappointed that Herbert never even moved up. That's crazy. Got the same rating.
Moved up. Russell Wilson there at a 7 and 90. Lamar Jackson in the same spot, 89. Justin Herbert drops now, and guess who's in the top 10 now, Joe? Deshaun Watson jumps into the top 10 because the thing is, when we do these lists too, he's there with an 88, tied with Justin Herbert, but again, the decimal points just puts him back at 10.
Yeah.
When we do these lists, we look at the cusp. We look at the guys on the cusp. And right behind him originally was Derek Carr again, and then Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Ryan Tannehill, and I went as far back as even just like a Matt Ryan.
Okay.
So we did the calculations on that too as well. But Deshaun Watson, after it's all said and done, leapfrogged in there, and Matthew Stafford dogged even more here when you look at the overall attributes, not getting it there. And Deshaun Watson now jumps in there, and that's your new top 10. But again, some of the ratings are a little off here still, but I think again the grouping together is better. I think
it's definitely better
using the information that they gave us.
The only thing that I would complain about is Watson being in the top 10 and Lamar Jackson based on their performances or lack of performance for Watson not even being there. Yes, do I agree with his rating? Yeah, okay, I could still see an 88 because he didn't play, but we all know how good he is. So yeah, he deserves to be kind of up there close to top 10, maybe right outside of it. But to be honest, I feel like there was more deserving players that had really good seasons last year, like a Derek Carr, who kind of really excelled and played with a lack of receiving corps still. Like, yeah, they had Waller, but then he was gone for half the year. And they had Hunter Renfrow, who came on strong.
Right, and that's the thing. If that was your star guy, your star tight end, and people tried to eliminate him out of the game, he still had to go to some people. They still did well, and that's what I mean. Brought up guys like a Hunter Renfrow, Brian Edwards at times. Just mixing it around. And no love, no mention at all.
And again, and the thing with Lamar Jackson is like, okay, we all know how good he is. Like running wise, he's unmatched. Best mobile quarterback in the history of the NFL. Like, you could not in the open field. it was unlike anything else. Like, the dude is so shifty. He's fast. His, like you mentioned, ball carrier vision is off the charts. So, of course, he's going to get a higher rating because of all that he can do, and he can throw the ball. But to be in the top 10 when he had a lackluster season last year, that's kind of tough to take.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny is I just took all the things that matter to quarterbacks.
Right.
So when it came to Lamar Jackson, when it came to Patrick Mahomes, some of these other guys, Kyler Murray, I didn't put in running, ball vision, none of that. It was just
it's
throw
quarterback
power,
play.
break sack, and then all your short, medium, deep throws, stuff like that. And they still show Lamar a lot of love on that. So there you go. There's our quarterbacks. Maybe we'll get to another list in the next couple of weeks. But Joe, until then, we got the wrapping up the AFC biggest questions. But before that, we're going to tell you about our friends here at Johnstone Supply here. Joe, why don't you tell everybody about Johnstone Supply?
It's still summer, everybody. We're hot up here in upstate New York. Well, listen, if you need to cool down, call our boys from Johnstone Supply in New York. Listen, summer's here. It's hot as hell and very humid lately. If you want to stay cool, though, make sure you hit our boys up. Ask the team at Johnstone Supply about their high efficiency central air conditioner systems and ductless mini splits. That's right. They got Goodman, they got Fujitsu, they got Westinghouse. And they're all in stock right now with great prices. Need someone to help you guys install them? Yeah, you guessed it. Johnstone Supply in Troy, New York. Listen, they're the people to go see. You know, give Tom, Kev, James, or Bird a call, and they will be glad to help you. Stay cool all summer long. And if you're in the southern states like Florida and stuff, where they stay hot a lot of the time, all year long, there's a Johnstone Supply down there as well, also in Seattle with our boy Tom. You can call them if you're locally here in New York, 518-272-5922. That's 518-272-5922. Or visit them at 2600 6th Avenue in Troy, New York. They are the people to go to, johnsonsupply.com. You can also hit them up online as well. They are there to help you guys out.
Nice. Excellent. You made it through, even though I tried messing you up with the sounds.
You can't mess me up. I'm a veteran now.
I'm a veteran now. Awesome.
So I got veteran status.
All right. Excellent. We're having a lot of fun here. By the way, again, everybody, we appreciate you viewing us on YouTube and Facebook out there. And also, if you haven't yet, you can subscribe to us on all your podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Cast, all that stuff. So we appreciate all of our listeners that way, too, as well. All right,
don't forget, listen, if you're new to the show, if you know somebody that would enjoy talking football, make sure you have them go on either Facebook or YouTube. Search us up, Football on the No Show. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the notification bell to let you guys know when we go live. Listen, drop comments down in the show. We're here to be interactive with everybody. We love you know-it-alls. We love the support. If you drop comments down below, we will react to them. We'll give you a shout-out. We'll answer any questions that you may have. This is what it's all about. Bouncing off ideas, getting opinions, debating. Let's go.
All right, here we go. So like I said, here we go. Wrapping up our biggest questions, and we've got the AFC East here. So, Joe, let's get right to it.
Let's do it.
First of all, let's talk about the Denver
Broncos.
Denver Broncos are going to be first, right?
That's
yes,
right.
That's right. You know, I know my alphabet. Here we go. Hey, can Russell Wilson bring the Broncos out of the depths of the division, Joe? Is he the guy that's going to come in, the Messiah that's going to revive this franchise that has been bad for so long that a lot of people even saw last year? Again, we were questioning why. You know, right? Weren't they even like, watch out for the Broncos? They're going to come back.
Yeah, we're like,
what,
great. What do they have?
What are you looking at? Yes, they did have a top 10 defense, you know, but that guy's not there anymore either.
Yeah,
Vic Fangio. So they've got a whole new squad there again.
New D coordinator.
What do you think about Nathaniel Hackett there, dude? Showing up with the shorts and the Baja hat or whatever and stuff like that. He looks kind of funny, like he's on vacation over there, just chilling. He looks like the guy that, like, somebody from Barstool or something that snuck on there, and he's not the actual coach. Like, who is this guy? Get him out, security.
It's almost like, you know, when he arrived, and if you like ever saw his press conference, how excited he was. It was almost like a shock to him that he got the job. You know what I mean? Like he's like, oh my God, I'm the head coach of the Broncos, everybody. This is amazing. And we got Russell Wilson, like one of the biggest fans ever. You know, he's like, we got Russell Wilson. Oh my God, this is insane. I'm an offensive coordinator, and I'm going to be coaching Russell Wilson. this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like he's like in starstruck mode. Like
we worked for QVC or something. Like, shut now. You got 30 seconds.
Right.
It's on the clock.
Right now.
Let's go.
$19.99. If you buy now,
Use
within the
promo code
first
down.
30 minutes, we're going to give you a second one for free. But it's insane. So, like, what's almost kind of, you know, a little kind of, I don't know, confusing to me is like, if you're that surprised you got the job, I'm not 100% sure this is their guy, you know, because, yes, he did a good job while he was with Green Bay and all that, but also, like, now you're getting Russell Wilson. He gets out of Dodge. They make the trade and bring him over to Denver. I wonder a little bit about how this marriage is going to work. You know, it's a different offense than Seattle ran. I think they're still going to obviously go to Russell Wilson's strengths, but a little bit different of a change. He's got some nice receiving options for him. Offensive line is decent. Not the best, but decent. Mm-hmm. And, you know, overall, like you mentioned, like we go to the defensive side, this is going to be way different because I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're still going to have the same defense. They're going to come and they're going to attack. They're going to be all over everybody. But let's, you know, take a couple steps backwards here. Vic Fangio is no longer there. He was the mastermind of that defense. Now that's gone. It's a new defense under a D coordinator that has a lot of assistant, you know, positions in his resume. Mm-hmm. You know, nothing real hardcore in terms of coordinator, but, you know, he's been an offensive, you know, assistant. He's been a safety coach. Mm-hmm. He's been you know, defensive control coordinator. Like, he's done a lot of different positions on both sides of the ball. So I wonder what his defense is going to look like now, because it's not going to be the same as Vic. Mm-hmm. So I got to wonder, like, yeah, they have good players and all, but if by changing this defense over, how well are they going to be able to grasp the you know, the schemes and the plays and the checks and audibles that they got to make at the line of scrimmage? So this is going to be a little bit you know, a little bit interesting on how well they can grasp all that knowledge and quickly, because the season is only a month away now.
Right.
And can it be enough without Vic there?
Yeah, and if you look at it, a lot of people are depending on – they're super psyched about seeing Randy Gregory on the other side of Bradley Chubb, but the biggest thing for them, injuries. Are they going to be on the field together? Because even Bradley Chubb has been knocked around and been injured, and now even Randy Gregory's still not able to practice right now. So
not
he's
to mention
on the PUP list. So.
Right, he does get injured, but he also gets suspended.
Yeah,
and he doesn't. He's not even going to be around. So maybe by week 3, he's not going to be
right.
He's going to be
so,
all done.
And that's the thing, and that's what their whole key, I think, around this defense was going to be. These guys, your pass rushers on the outsides coming in at you, and if you don't have that, that's a big problem. And then if you look at the weapons here for Russell Wilson and stuff as well too. Jerry Jeudy coming off of the injuries too, and being able to maybe have a full season for him, that might be his shining spot here for them. Cortland Sutton's still a good wide receiver, but after that, I'm not really that impressed with all these guys too as well. KJ Hamler too, trying to get healthy, so that will be a whole different thing for them too as well. So overall, we're looking at a team that might not even stay healthy the whole time and be banged up and bruised and still be bottom feeders, I think, of this division.
It's anything's possible, right? You know, so, I mean, the thing with Russell Wilson, too, that I'll say is that I know the hype train is big because it's been a long time, a really long time, since the Broncos have had a true franchise quarterback at that position. And now that they have a guy that has that tag, that title, there's a lot of hype. And rightfully so, right? You bring over a guy like at his stature to come play quarterback for you, a position that you've been desperately needing for quite some time. And of course, I could see why the reason fans are super excited and we're going to win a lot more. Yeah, you are going to win more games. But being how everybody in this division got better, nobody got worse. Everybody got better. And you were bottom feeders last year. Like, yeah, you changed your quarterback, but that's really the only major change you made. So let's wait and see type of approach for the Denver Broncos. I don't think they're going to be a juggernaut right away, even with Russell Wilson. But I think they're definitely going to be better. But I don't know how well it's going to all work out.
Absolutely. So there you go. That's the Denver Broncos again. big question for them. We'll see what happens as the season unfolds. Moving on now to the Kansas City Chiefs. The only question, I guess, for them is, again, we see that Tyreek Hill has left the building. Again, they had to just not be able to rework a deal with him, so he goes to the Miami Dolphins. They get Juju, stuff like that. They do not have, Tyrann Mathieu on the defensive end, too, as well. But you're looking at these wide receivers, and they're a little bit different now here. They've got to just kind of just a mix of guys that are pretty good, but not really blowing the doors off anybody. So basically, the question here is, will the offense struggle without Tyreek Hill? What are they going to look like? Because now I think people only are going to be teeing up on, Travis Kelce here, trying to lock him down to make sure they're not doing anything, and dare you to throw it to a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster.
And I don't think that's a bad option for the Chiefs. I mean, if they got to deviate from Travis Kelce being the primary guy, they're okay with it. Yeah, I understand Tyreek Hill is no longer there. And I know some people are excited, like Raider fans and everybody else in the division, like, oh, they don't have Hill anymore. But they still have a speedster in Mecole Hardman, but he's more straight line speed. He's not acceleration. He doesn't have that burst like Hill does to get to that top end speed. They got Marcus Valdes-Scantling from the Green Bay Packers, which another kind of fast receiver, but not as dynamic or nowhere near.
That's the thing, trying to find a dynamic.
So their identity on offense is going to dramatically change. They are no longer going to be that high flying, just we can throw deep at will type of offense. They are going to methodically work it down the field, I feel like. And Scantling, I'm sorry, he's not a number one receiver, but he's going to be starting Mecole Hardman opposite him. And then you're going to have Juju, who I think is going to be great for them in the slot. If he is playing outside, if they do decide to change it up or whatever, still going to be a good receiver, but seen more now, as a possession guy. A guy that's not going to take you deep, not going to beat you and kill you there unless there's a blown coverage. But this is going to be different. It's going to be a different type of Chiefs offense than we normally see because Tyreek Hill is there. So do I think they're going to be, take a downturn in some form or fashion? No. I still think they're going to be efficient. They're going to be adequate. They got Andy Reid, one of the best offensive minds in the league. So they're going to be good. I still think they're going to be really good and really hard to contend with.
Well, it's kind of funny, too, is you saw last year when they began, they didn't look like the Chiefs of old. A lot of people were like, whoa, what the hell's going on? And a lot of teams kind of figured out by watching a lot of film to figure out how are we going to contain these guys? How are we going to be able to limit the success of having a Tyreek Hill here and then a Travis Kelce here? It took them a while to figure it out to try and beat that defense now, too. Finally the Chiefs came around, were able to kind of get it, but it wasn't look very good for Patrick Mahomes, making a lot of mistakes, turnovers, getting him on the run, trying to trust himself more than he really could, and getting himself into trouble to where we've had that one knock about him all the time. People, especially media personalities, want to try and put out there, this is the new style quarterback, this is fresh and new, and it's just him making all his dumb mistakes and getting lucky and making it happen still. Normally, you're not telling these guys to do that, some of the things that they've done. But not being able to have that as an option this time, though, too, could maybe revert them again to where defenses have changed their style here now to tee up on a Travis Kelce. And looking at maybe the biggest question for them, too, is that left tackle with Orlando Brown. What will go down with that whole situation? Still not signing the franchise tag.
No.
Wants a deal. So if you don't have that left tackle protecting Patrick Mahomes and he's running from his life on the bootlegs, yes, he has been able to make some plays on the run, but also you've seen him get hit a lot. You saw that even last year and banged up and get himself into trusting his arm a lot, making a bonehead throw and throwing interceptions.
Yeah, and that's a big thing is we're going to evaluate this. We're going to monitor this. However, in the end, right before the season, Brown will be playing. Like, that's the most likely scenario that's going to happen. Unless I will be shocked if Orlando Brown holds out into the season. Because, honestly, the Chiefs are a little strapped for money. They can't afford to give you a big mega deal like you want or be one of the highest paid left tackles. It's not going to happen right now. I just don't see how they're going to make that much money up, in terms of cap space to be able to lock him down like he wants to be. I think the Chiefs were like, hey, listen, we're going to take care of you. Sign the franchise tag. you're going to make a lot of money this year. It is a raise just for this year, and then we're going to work on a deal in the offseason. We're going to get it together then. But right now, Orlando Brown is digging his heels in, and he's standing firm. He's not going to practice, and that's a concern. Just like you brought up. Mm-hmm. Do I think defenses? Yeah, defenses are going to change how they play them because now, to be honest, you don't have that huge Tyreek Hill threat. Now you have a lot of guys that all are good players, and I feel like that's going to make Mahomes a better quarterback now because the reason for some of the bad decisions and the bad throws and him trying to make too much out of something is because he had a guy like Hill to rely on, a guy who's going to get open with his burst and speed. It's just bound to happen over time. So, excuse me. So now it's going to be about progressions. Now it's going to be, okay, they took Juju away. Now I got to go to Miracle. Okay, they took those two away. I go to Valdez-Scantling. And it's going to change. Or Kelsey's still the guy because these guys are all threatening all over the football field that Kelsey's still going to get those dump passes, still going to execute. So this offense, even though it's through a change because they no longer have their go-to guy, I feel like this could possibly make Mahomes a better quarterback in the long run because now he's not going to be keyed on just one guy. Like, that's my guy and Travis Kelce's my guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now it's going to be, I have a lot of weapons. I got to utilize them all.
Yeah, and they got to build a relationship together. All right, now moving on. Now, next we have the Los Angeles Chargers here, Joe. For the Chargers, got to be, I guess, are the Chargers the most complete team in the division now? Looking at them top to bottom, they're pretty stacked. And the thing is, I think the only thing that's kind of held this team back is really their coaching style. I mean, the way he runs or manages the team, I think, or the game as it goes on, they really shot themselves in the foot a lot of times. There were so many games that they were just in it, and they were a lot closer just because he went for it for fourth down so many times and missed it when they were in scoring range. For me, I'm not exactly a conservative on points and stuff, but when I'm in there, I'm taking the points.
You want to get points
every time, especially if you're near midfield. Do something else that makes it has a higher success rate, or even get rid of it. I will not. They did it when they were backed against their end zone.
They were in their own red zone.
And they went for it. You only see that in Arena League right now because, again, there is no real punting in the Arena League, so they go for it all the time.
And it's a short field.
Because it's a short field. It's half the distance of what we look at the NFL. So that's the only time where it kind of even remotely makes sense. The way he runs the team and manages the game really just is, I think, what holds him back, because if you look at the team altogether, the full roster, there is no reason why they shouldn't be any better in this division.
I mean, you think about what they did last year, right? They were on a playoff run, but again, the reason why the Chargers didn't have an easy walk right into the playoffs is because I really think the head coach cost them a few wins. He really did with his play calling, going for it on fourth downs at times, turning the ball over or turning the ball over when they're about to score. Yeah, and it's like you nullified everything. So. They definitely lost a few games because of that decision-making. Hopefully, he's learned from it from last year. And if so, this team could do a lot of good. I'll tell you right now, they had a really solid offensive line for the first time in a while last year. And they got stronger in that area to help keep Herbert upright. And not to mention, it's going to give him a hell of a lot more time now, which is even more dangerous. You have great weapons up and down on offense, running backs galore. Tight ends. They signed Gerald Everett from the Rams, which I think is a nice fit. And then you go onto the defensive side, and holy Santa Claus shit! This let me just tell you real quick. I have to name them in the secondary. J.C. Jackson, the huge addition from free agency, lockdown corner. Opposite him, Asante Samuel Jr., who has played extremely well his rookie year, looks to lock down that side. Then you have guys like Derwin James at safety. Everyone knows him, right? And then Nasir Adderley, who's kind of really come on since he's been drafted in 2019. So this secondary, you could debate and argue that they are one of the best secondaries in the league. And then you team that up with a pass rush that they have. They got Khalil Mack on a big-time trade.
Right.
Opposite him now, Joey Bosa. Like, Joey Bosa's smiling ear to ear because now he has finally someone opposite him that can take some of that pressure off. And, wow, it's insane to me that the possibilities for this team definitely are, on paper, are the most solid and playoff caliber ready, I feel, than anybody in the division, because there's holes for each different team.
And if you look at what Khalil Mack was doing for the Bears, he was there to kind of be that guy. Never really lived up to it, I guess, with the contract. Even though he had a lot of great guys around him too, as you looked at Roquan Smith and Hicks too as well, and they were really good, but wasn't able to get it done here. And again, when he comes to this team, he's not really having that pressure, I think, to be that type of guy. Yes, he needs to be one of those pressure guys, but when you have a Joey Bosa, you're talking about Joey Bosa being excited to have Khalil Mack on the other side. I think Khalil Mack is really excited to have Joey Bosa on the other side, too, because, again, he can back clean up on this whole thing, too, as well. If people are trying to key up to try and stop your Joey Bosa coming in there, which have fun with that, you've got Khalil Mack on the other side to clean up the loose ends here, too. So, I mean, they can feed off of each other, and, again, this secondary also can give you that time to where the quarterback has to keep looking at reads, and they'll get that pressure if it takes them a little bit longer too.
Well, yes and no, because that defense, they got their hands full. Like you need pass rush to help your secondary out.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to play a whole lot of man. Mm-hmm. They're going to mix it in, but on those opportunities where it's zone, the pass rush better get there. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to get eaten up.
Well, we'll see. And but I mean, again, looking at it top to bottom here, you still have Austin Eckler there as their running back, but you get Isaiah Spiller they drafted in the 4th round. Justin Herbert again, really solid guy. Again, he's ice in his veins, knows how to really just forget about any kind of mistakes he might have made before, even though they weren't many. This team has played teams like the Chiefs, and again, the Raiders, these upper echelon, always in the playoffs type of teams. But I think coaching has been the only thing that's kind of held them back, and their analytics or whatever it might be on going for it. If they just play their game the way they do, they will move forward here, because you can't argue about anything. That wide receiving room has been pretty much the same for a while here still. Right. And so everybody here is gelled. And again, going out at right guard and drafting Zion Johnson here too on that offensive line, that just helps solidify this offensive line for him as well, for Justin Herbert to keep him standing upright. So this team, again, on the rise. We'll see what happens, though. They're only as far as I think this coach is going to let them go here. All right, so finally here for the AFC West, biggest questions. Let's talk about your Las Vegas Raiders. And for me, the question is, with the changes the Raiders have made, in the offseason, getting a new head coach, getting Devontae Adams, are they poised now to take the division or even further than that, Joe?
Yes and no. The reason why I say that is because anytime you have a lot of change happen in one offseason, so one big thing, whole new coaching staff. That means every player that's on the roster has to either relearn or learn a new scheme, offense and defense. Good thing is it's a really good coaching staff. You have Patrick Graham as your D coordinator, Josh McDaniels as your offensive coordinator / head coach. So at least there's a good coaching staff there. But a lot of stuff has to happen. A lot of stuff has to gel. A lot of stuff has to work out. And then the personnel and what they've managed to do, great receiving core. I mean,
I like the receiving core a lot.
It looks really, really good on paper. Let's wait and see how it looks on the field. Running backs galore. The big question for offense, though, is that offensive line. How good is that offensive line going to be compared to last year? Last year, yes, they went through injuries just like any other team did, but it didn't look that great. There was definitely times where you're like, get rid of it. You know what I mean? You watching the game, you're worried about your quarterback getting slammed.
Right.
So I wonder how well some of these guys are going to take a step forward and excel their play, or is this offensive line still going to be kind of the same as last year? So I know they brought in a lot of talent to compete at every single position. Let's wait and see how it works out. And defensively, another thing. a lot of players changing in and out of this roster. So that, to me, whenever you have a lot of players and a new coaching staff all change at once, it normally doesn't dictate complete success. But the biggest thing I feel like when this does happen for teams is how fast they can all get on the same page. Mm-hmm. If the communication is there, if they all get on the same page, they have talent. Let's just see how well they can work together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and for me, even too, looking at the coaching staff from last year to this one, though, too, that I think this one, I think, is a lot fresher. I like what Josh McDaniels has done with the Patriots here. Now the personnel that he has here, this is the best wide receiving core he's had, I think. Oh, even when he was with the Patriots. I mean, minus, Mike, was he even there for the Randy Moss years?
Yes, he was.
So there.
Yep.
So minus until there, probably. But besides that, pretty close. You know what I mean? You got your Hunter Renfrow, which is your gadget guy, like you had before with your Julian Edelmans or your Wes Welkers.
Crazy.
You got Devontae Adams, which was like your Randy Moss here. But again, your hidden gems, like we've talked about, we really love Keelan Cole. We're hearing a lot of good things out of camp with him. And even a DeMarcus Robinson in your back pocket here, too.
I think he's getting cut,
too. Oh, really?
Honestly, I'm being honest,
right,
because
with everything that they have.
I was a little excited at first because I'm like, okay, we're taking an enemy away from them, even though he wasn't like the starter or anything really. But he made some decent plays. But now I'm hearing a lot that he's like you just mentioned, Keelan Cole is actually superseding expectations and balling out with Derek Carr. And it's looking like, that's kind of pushing guys like DeMarcus Robinson down.
Right.
And then there's a lot of competition at that position. You know what I mean? So they brought in some like guys from other teams, like low key veterans and everything, and they're all playing tough. Mac Hollins is another one that is looking good in camp. So I feel like guys like DJ Turner, DeMarcus Robinson, like those guys are starting to slide down the depth chart to where you're like, that's an easy cut. You know what I mean? They don't really need to worry about it. But they did a lot of different things. They got some nice players like you're mentioning.
And even their running back rooms, too. It's really reminiscent of what the Patriots did. You got your Josh Jacobs, too, that could do it all here. That's great. But you don't have to ask all of them, too, because you got your Kenyon Drakes back there. Your Brandon Bolden even, too. A guy familiar with the New England offense, too. So can even not only preach what it does here, but be his nice part, too, as well.
You know what's crazy about his addition in Devontae Adams? Something I didn't know about either player. They were lifelong Raider fans.
Oh, wow.
And now they both said in their press conference, this is a dream come true. I can't believe this actually happened, blah, blah, blah. Now you got to make the team, though, Brandon.
Yeah,
doesn't mean you're guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like you were Marshawn Lynch saying I was a lifelong fan.
It's funny because they showed Devontae Adams in a photo of him as a kid wearing a Raider jersey.
Oh, wow.
So it goes, it's pretty funny. It's like how it all worked out for both those players.
Hell yeah. And then if, again, you look on that defensive side, again, they've had some leaks here before, but again, you look at what they have here all together, though. You've got some Rock Ya-Sin. You've got Chandler Jones here, who's been that guy solid for Arizona. Now he can come here to the Raiders here.
One of the best pass rushers.
And then Max Crosby, another guy that gets dogged by a lot of people, stuff like that. A beast last year, too, especially him on the other side, too, with these guys. Denzel Perryman. So, I mean, you're just looking at these guys, and it looks really nice what they can possibly do here on this defense, too, as well. It's super exciting. So, Joe, for you, again, as a Raider fan, I really hope you're the best on this one. Again, coaching staff, I think you got the right coaching staff in here, too, as well now, too, because last year we went to a game before, and I watched some of these, and it was bad. I think coaching that lost that Giants game, too, because, again, what you guys had success with, you kind of went away from, and it was a whole different type of second half to where, the Giants are not known for even running the football all over the place, and we ran all over you and stuff like that and won that way.
Gus Bradley, that's all I got to say.
Yeah,
Colts, good luck with Gus Bradley.
So there you go. That's our AFC West biggest questions. That wraps up all the biggest questions here for the offseason here. We're going to get into training camps pretty soon here. There's a lot of other storylines that are come through.
A big thing that happened today too is the center. The center for the Buccaneers, Ryan Jensen, went down with a major injury, causing him to not only just leave, but the team has already announced it as being a serious injury. So you know what that means. Usually that means he's done for the year. And if that's the case, That is a humongous loss for the offensive line in Tom Brady.
Big, yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of things coming on. I mean, Michael Gallup got injured too and stuff, so we'll see how that
They're
is
even
gonna
saying
go too.
that it's unrealistic to see him in week one.
Week one. Yeah. So again, a team that had moved on from a guy like Amari Cooper said, CeeDee Lamb, you're going to be our guy now, alongside with Michael Gallup on the other side. You don't have Michael Gallup, at least for week one, it seems. Hopefully for them, that's all it is. If it goes further, then they've got issues. They also have issues with Dalton Schultz still, too, what's going on with them. So a lot of different things can happen. We got the offseason still, training camps. People have been getting injured a lot lately, too, with these last couple of years. Not getting the most padded practices, I still think, is part of that issue. Not getting
enough.
Enough. Exactly. And so not getting it, not get used to that full speed. So when it comes to the week 1, 2 as well, bang, 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 start falling like flies. But
right.
Yeah, so we're excited about it. I hope you guys are too. We got a big year planned for everybody. Like
huge.
I said, we got more sponsors. Yeah. We have more events that we're planning. We have more guests. We're going to get some guests on here. We haven't done interviews in a while, Joe. Let's get some interviews going here too as well.
That's true. And we got some big announcements coming up. Stay tuned. Got some fun stuff lined up for you guys. Also, listen, if you're new to the show and you've made it this far, God bless you, first of all, dealing with us. Second of all, if you could do us a favor and share the love with all your friends, all your family, anybody that loves to talk football, loves the game, make sure you go search us up on Facebook or YouTube, Football on the Know Show. That's KNOW. Go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, let you guys know when we go live. Also, follow us on Facebook, become a know-it-all. And you can also follow us if you want to take us with you in your pocket or something. Anywhere you get your podcasts, that's it. Hit that follow button. Make sure you will bring us along to work, to vacation, wherever you're going. And listen. That's right. Listen. Very good, little boy. But nonetheless, listen, we really appreciate all the support. And if you do tune in next Wednesday, make sure you drop in the comment section that you're here, all accounted for, and drop those comments, drop the questions. Listen, we're the most interactive football talk show out there. We pride ourselves on it. Prove us right.
It is pointless to resist.
That's right. Son. Excellent. So that's it for us this week. We will see you guys next week.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday night for more Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.